So hello everyone, today we are going to continue with surface lectures and today we are going to see the types of sweep command. We have already seen one type of sweep command, that was the starting type, the first type. Today we are going to continue with the other types. So we'll make one sketch for starting this command. Select the plane, say sketch. We need to make one arc here, so I'm going to make center point arc. Select the center point, then start point and the end point. We'll repeat the first type also today. Now the endpoints of this curve are coincided with the horizontal axis. We need to give the radius first. So we are going to apply the radius. The radius we are going to take here is 50 mm. Say exit workbench. Now one profile has been made. Next thing we require is path. Here we are going to add one path by using spline. We can use spline, arc, line, whatever thing we require at that time. So I am going to select this spline here. But to start with the profile, we don't have any reference of the profile here. So we'll select the profile first and say it project entities. So we'll get the reference point or starting point. Next we'll put up this construction here and go for this spline command. Say escape. So now we have one profile as well as one path. Say exit workbench and go for the sweep command. So here you will get the first category, that is explicit. And in explicit the first type is with reference surface. So in here with reference surface you need to show the profile and guide curve. So here is the profile and here is the guide curve. Say preview and you will get the sweep command applied. One more option is given here, that is this relimiters. These options you will get in every type of sweep command where you can apply the relimiter in the same way as we are going to see now. So for using this relimiter, we need to add some planes here before that. We'll cancel this command for now and we'll add some planes here. So I'm going to take one reference plane from this front plane. I'll take this plane parallel. So the distance we are going to take here is 50 mm. So here we have one plane. This plane will be for relimiter 1 and we are going to add one more plane for relimiter 2. We are going to select this plane for the reference and we are going to add the plane at the distance of around 200. That will be minus 200. Now we have these two planes here added, acting as relimiter 1 and relimiter 2. Again go for the same command, sweep. Select the profile first and then we are going to add the guide curve. Say preview. But this time we are going to add the relimiter also. Select this relimiter. Say this relimiter first and this plane as relimiter 2. Say preview. So we can see this profile is starting from the relimiter 1 and ending at relimiter 2. Say OK and finish. So in this way we can use relimiters. This option will be available in every type of the sweep command. Next we are going to see the second type of the sweep command and we are going to hide this one, this guide curve, and we are going to make two more guide curves here on the top plane. So I'm going to select this plane and say sketch, and for having the ends we are going to make this earlier made profile, that is this profile, to be projected as line. So first make it normal in condition and then go for projection. So I'm going to say project entities and make it construction. It is just for reference purpose. So we are going to add one line, put up the construction and then go for the line command, or else the other line is also going to come in construction only. So this will be the first line and this line here. This will be the second line. Say enter and finish. We have these two profiles now. We can say two guide curves only. Say exit workbench and then go for the command. So select this command. Instead of reference surface we are going to go for with two guide curves. So profile we are going to say this one and the guide curve one we are going to select this line. But we can see here, as we are selecting the left hand side guide curve as a line, the second guide curve is also been selected. So this is the error we need to show you, so that you need to understand that these two guide curves are to be made differently on different sketches but on the same plane. We can see this error is coming. Say OK, cancel this feature and say edit sketch. And instead of having this second guide curve in the same sketch, I am going to delete it. Say exit workbench. Select the same plane for the second guide curve. Say sketch. The difference is only that we are making two guide curves in two different sketch, not in the same sketch. Say sketch to this plane and add the second guide curve. Again we need this point, so we are going to say project entities. Say construction geometry. Put off the construction geometry later and then go for the second guide curve. We have added this second guide curve also here. Say exit workbench. Now we have this mid profile and these two different sketches guide curves. We'll go for the command now. With two guide curves. So profile we need to select this one. And the guide curve one will take this guide curve as we have made this earlier. And then we have made the second guide curve. So it will be selected as second only. Say preview. Say close. You can see here this part has been made. You can add the delimiters here also by taking plane or surface reference. This time we are not going to add. This option will appear in all types of sweep here. We have seen in starting only how to apply this. We are not going to repeat it again and again for every type. Say OK and finish. So this is the sweep command using two different guide curves. Next we are going to go for sweep and third type, that is with pulling direction. Profile we are going to select this one only, and guide curve we are going to take this one. But here the extra thing we are going to add is direction. And in direction we need to select the direction which is perpendicular to this line. That will be this y1, this y axis. So we are going to select direction as right click and say y. Always keep in mind that if you are using this pulling direction option, this direction should be always perpendicular to the guide curve we have made. That's why we are going to take y direction as it is coming perpendicular to this guide curve. Say preview and say OK. So this is the another way of making sweep by using guide curve. Next we are going to delete this sweep again. Say OK and finish. So the next category we are going to start with now is line category for sweep command. So to start with the line category we are going to take new file. Say wireframe and surface design only. We will make the part name as by the name of category only. Say line and say OK. We are going to take and select the top plane here and say sketch again. We are going to make two lines here. So this will be the first line. We'll make it coincide with the origin. And the second type we are going to make one more line only. Starting with the same reference. This inclined line. So here the distance we are going to take here is 200. And angle we are going to take, if you want angle or if you don't want angle, in any case we can make this sweep here. I'm taking this line incline just for an example. Say exit workbench. But notice that we have made both the lines in same sketch. We'll see whether it is possible to take them as two different sketches or not. Select the sweep command and select the category as line this time. And we will see this first type, that is with two limits. So as soon as I try and select this first line, we can see both the lines have been selected. It means that if you want two different guide curves, then you need to make this two line in two different sketches only, not in the same sketch. So as soon as you select, it will show an error. Say OK and cancel, and we'll edit this sketch here. We'll cancel this line and make this line in another sketch. Say exit workbench. Again select the same plane, but this time in different sketch. Select the line command, select the reference point as same starting point. We are going to end it somewhere here. Now we have two different sketches. Again we can put on the angles. I'll take the same angle as 15 degrees. I'm repeating that it is not compulsory to make this line in inclination, but just for the example purpose I am going to take this incline. Say exit workbench. Now we have two different lines in two different sketches. Go for the sweep command and select the second category, that is sweep using line features. So the first type is by two limits or two lines we can say. Guide curve 1 we are going to take the first line, and guide curve 2 we are going to take the second line. Say preview, and we can see here the swept surface has been added between the two lines. But here some extra surface is also been added by 20 mm reference. This is because the length 20 is by default been added here. So if you want to extend these surfaces by two ends, we can extend it by using this length 1 and length 2. Just we need to add the value here. So if I don't want, I'll take this value as 0 only. You can see here. If I want to extend this surface on both the sides, I'll just double click for this feature. And I can add this length here. So length 1 will be added from the guide curve 1 and length 2 will be added from the guide curve 2. This will extend the surfaces further in both the directions. So I'll say this value as 50 mm from length 1. You can see here this 50 mm is extra added here. And for second also we are going to add this value, say preview and say close. Say OK and finish. So this 50 mm is further extended from both the guide curves, that is from guide curve 1 and guide curve 2. This is optional if you want to extend, or if you want to take 0, you can take 0 values also. So any further surfaces will not be added here. That is totally optional. Next, I'll delete this sweep again. Now the second type of this category, we'll select the sweep command and we have this category named as limit and middle. So here the guide curve 1 will select this one. It will act as limit 1 and this guide curve 2 will be acting as middle, and the same amount of surface will be added on the other side also, as this line will be in middle of the surface. Say preview. You can see here same amount of material is added on the other side also, and this second guide curve, that is the sketch, will act as middle reference. So this was limit and this was middle. That's why the surface is coming on other side also. Now for the third type also we are going to delete this sweep. Say OK and finish. After limit and middle we are going to see with reference surface. So for reference surface we need one guide curve, we can see here, and one reference surface also. But at present we don't have any surface. So we'll add some surface here by using the earlier command, that is with two limits. So this limit 1 and limit 2, we don't need the limits here, so I'm going to take the limit values as 0, 0 only. Say preview and OK. Now with reference surface we are going to select the guide curve. We can select any of them, the boundaries as guide curve, so I'm going to select this one as guide curve 1. And this surface, support surface, we are going to select the same surface which is connected to this guide curve 1. We also need to add the length here, so I'm going to add this length as 50 mm. Say preview. But it is getting merged in the same surface, so we are going to change or say reverse direction for this length. You just need to select this arrow, so the direction will be reversed. You can see here. You can also add the angles here, so I'm going to take this angle as 45 degrees and say preview. So now the surface is coming at 45 degrees incline. We can see here this value. The surface is nothing but the length we have added 50 mm by the support surface. We can change the quadrants here. For the angular sector, I'll say previous. Now it is showing in red color, means it is going to be updated. Say preview and you will see the quadrant of this angle has been updated. I'll say previous, that will be the first quadrant. Again say preview. So now it is coming at the lower side. If I go for the fourth quadrant, say preview, it is coming now in this quadrant. So here one by one we can edit the quadrants. Just you need to say previous or next. Say preview again. So in this way you can add the reference surface here. Say OK and finish. So this was the type in line category by using reference surface. You only required one guide curve and one reference surface and the length 1 to be added. You can add the length 2 also here. It will come on the opposite direction of this length 1. If I say length 2 also by 50 mm only, same length, say preview, it will come on the opposite side. Here also the quadrants will be changed if I change this angle sector. You can see here. So this was swept command using line category and reference surface option. Next type we are going to see here. We will go to the previous sketch only by this window. We have already made one curve here. I'm going to delete this swept and I'm going to delete this line also here. We'll take one plane for the second reference. So in the other category, we'll select this swept command and we'll see the next type after reference surface we have with reference curve. So in reference curve, you need one guide curve and one reference curve. Two curves are needed here. So I'm going to cancel it and add the second reference curve. We'll take one plane here for adding the second reference curve. Select this plane and we are going to make it reverse in direction. Make this value as minus 300. Now on this plane we are going to say sketch. So for this type you need two different planes and two different sketches as guide curves. First we have already made and second we are making it now. So this time I am going to select the line only, simple line we are going to make here. And now I am going to say symmetric this two endpoints of this line with the middle reference axis. Say symmetric, say OK. Whatever length you require you can give it here. I am going to say 150 mm. Say exit workbench. Now we can see we have these two sketches. This one is arc, which was made on front plane, and the other guide curve is made in the form of line on the other plane, which was taken parallel by 300 mm distance. We'll go for this type now. Select the swept command. Select the second type category as line, and here the option we are going to take is with reference curve. Guide curve 1, select this one, and reference curve we are going to take this one. Say preview now. It is showing error. It is because we need to add the length also here. So I'm going to add the length. We'll take this value a little bit here. Say 60 mm value and say preview. Still it is showing error. So we'll do one thing. We'll cancel this command and again go for the swept, but this time we'll change the selections here. Earlier we have taken this arc as a guide curve and this as the reference curve, but this time we are going to take this line as a guide curve, and this reference curve we are going to take this earlier made arc. Say preview. We can see here it is coming on the reverse side. I'll make it switch on this side here. Just click on this arrow option and say preview with adding some length. I'm going to add this length as 90 mm. Say preview. So we can see here this length 90 mm. This will be starting of the surface, and the width of the surface is not been taken by the reference line's width. It is taken according to the width between these 2 points. You just need to increase or decrease the length. We can see the change after that. So I'm increasing the length here. You can see this number has been increased to 162. Again say preview. So we can see here as this surface is getting closer to this reference curve, it is going to take this shape here. First it has been started with the reference as flat only, as there was only line here. But the second reference curve was in the shape of arc. That's why this shape is also been changing as the length is been proceeding further. Again make this length a little bit more here. Say preview. And we can see this arc is coming in the form of this shape only. As close you are going to get here, this shape will be changed and will come closer to this one in shape wise. The total distance was 300. I'm going to take this as 300 only directly. Say preview. So we can see here it is getting attached to this reference curve. So this was the option using reference curve. You can see here started from the line as a guide curve and ended at the reference curve, which was an arc. Reference curve shape is been carried forward. So this was step using reference curve. Next type we are going to see here is with tangent surface. So for that I am going to delete this swept. Say OK. Delete this sketch also, which was made as this line. We don't need this now. And we are going to make this arc extrude. This will act as the reference surface. We will take this length here as 300 only. After extrusion we are going to select this top plane. Now the endpoints of this curve are lying on the top plane. So we need to make one line that will be on the same plane where these endpoints are. So that plane is top plane. I'm going to select the top plane here, say sketch, and make one line here. We'll take this length of the line also as 300 mm only. Say this line length as 300 only. Say exit workbench. After taking swept command, we are going to change this type and take the next type, that is with tangent surface. So in with tangent surface, guide curve 1 we are going to take this line, and the tangent surface we are going to select this surface. Say preview, and we can see here by the reference of the guide curve one surface has been added, that is tangent to the earlier surface. And now if I want to remove this extra surface which is coming after tangency in between, by clicking on this option, that is trim with tangent surface. Say preview, and the surface which is coming in between will be removed. Say OK. Say close. So one tangent surface has been made by removing the extra surface. So I'll say OK and finish it. Next type here we are going to see here is with draft direction. So for draft direction, again I am going to delete this swept. Say OK and finish. We'll show this sketch. The earlier sketch 1 we have shown here for the next type of swept. So here swept command, the type you are going to see is with draft direction. You need to show the guide curve and then we need to show the direction. So direction, we are going to add the direction here as x direction, which is going to be perpendicular to the profile we have made. So here for direction I'm going to select x reference. You also need to give the limit here, so I'm going to take this limit as 200. Say preview. If I want to change the direction, I'm just going to click on this arrow. Again say preview, the direction is coming on opposite side. But the swap here is similar to the extrude command. What makes this command different is the angle. So I'm going to add the angle here. I'm going to set 10 degrees. So this will be swept along with the 10 degrees angle, inclination angle. Say preview. And we can see here, this inclination angle is coming at the bottom side. If I want to change the angular sector, I'll say next one and say preview. So this angular sector was third one, I am taken fourth one now, say preview. And we can see here, now the draft angle is coming at the upper side or outer side. If I again go for the previous sector, say preview, this time the angle sector is coming at the inner side. So in this way we can make this swap command work along the direction by using these angles here. This is the thing that is being changed in this type, this angle. Say 15 degrees now, say preview and change the category of angle sector. So now it is coming swept by 15 degrees incline and with the length of 200 mm. Say finish and OK. Now for the next type, I'll delete this swap here and make one extrude. On the reverse direction we'll say and say OK. We'll make same sketch again on the same plane, that is on the front plane. Earlier this size was of radius 50, so I'm going to take this size radius 50 again. We'll make one more arc with the same size. The radius value I'm going to take 50 only this time also. And the center to center distance we are going to keep here is around 160 mm. So half will be 80 mm. Say exit workbench. Say extrude on this curve also. Say reverse direction and OK. Now the center to center distance was 160 mm. We are going to add one mid plane here in between these two surfaces. So I'm going to take one plane to add this mid one. Total distance was 160, so I'm going to take this distance as 80. To allow this plane to be positioned between these two surfaces, we are going to take this length as 80 mm. Say OK. I'll select this plane and say sketch again. And here we are going to make one guide curve or one spine we can say. For that I'm going to say project to this line, project curve. Make this project curve as construction geometry only for reference purpose. And then we are going to make one line here. This line will act as one spine or we can say one guide curve. Put off the construction mode first and then go for the spine, making this one line. So this line will act as spine. Say exit workbench and go for the swap command. Type we are going to change and say with two tangent surfaces. Where we can see this option spine. So I'm going to take this line as a spine. First tangency surface I am going to take this one and second tangency surface we are going to take this one. Say preview and we can see here one surface has been added between these two tangent surfaces, making that third surface also tangent with the other two surfaces. Here if I want to trim these inner sides of these surfaces, I will say trim with first tangent surface, this option, and also click on this option that is trim with second surface also. And these two inner surfaces will be trimmed, first and second. Say OK and finish. If I want to hide these sketches here, we are going to hide them. We can see here with swap command having two tangent surface, we have made this surface here. We have already seen the half types of the swap command and we are going to continue with the remaining half types. So we'll start with this sketch for the next type. To make this sketch, I am going to select this plane, that is this top plane, say sketch. And here we are going to make one line first. We'll make it fully constrained by adding the dimensions. I'm going to say the length as 100 mm. Also one horizontal distance from the line to the axis. So we are going to take it around 60 mm. Say exit workbench. Now the next type we are going to see here is swap along three guide curves. So here we need three guide curves in which we have made the first one. Still we need two more guide curves here. So I'm going to cancel it. And in this same plane but having different sketch, we are going to make one more line. Say sketch One more line here. I'm going to take the same length. So double click on the dimension and we are going to put here the length as 100 mm and distance from the line to the axis we are going to take it 60 mm. So we are having two lines here on the same plane but in the different sketches, not in the same sketch. If we try to take the line in the same sketch, both the lines, then they will be considered as a single sketch, not a different profiles or different guide curves. Say exit workbench. That's why we are going to take them separately on same planes. Now for the third guide curve, I'm going to select the right plane. Add one more line here. Length we are going to take 100 mm. And the height we are going to take here is 50 mm. Say exit workbench. After making the guide curves, we are going to go for the command, select the swept command. Here we have seen the two categories, explicit and line, and now we are going to start with the third category, that is circle. And in circle, the first type is 3 guides. So we have made the 3 guides, we are going to select them one by one. Guide curve 1, I am going to select this one. Say guide curve 2, we are going to take this one, and guide curve 3, we are going to select this one. Say preview. Now according to selection, this was the first one, that's why it is starting from here, and this line was the second guide curve, so that's why it is passing through the second guide curve and then it is ending at guide curve number 3. But if I change the order, suppose if I change the order, I'm going to cancel it first. We'll repeat the command sweep. Now show the guide curves. This is guide curve 1. This time we are going to select guide curve 2 as this mid one, and then the last one as guide curve 3. So this pattern will be now the first, then the second, and then the third. So in this path we are going to make this surface here. Say preview. We can see here, this was the first selection, this was the second, and this was the third. So it depends on the selections of the guide curve how we are going to apply the surface, in which direction it will start and what will be the mid and end of this surface. Say close. Say OK and finish. Now the second type in this category is 2 guides and radius. So instead of 3 guides, now we are going to go for 2 guides and 1 radius. I'll cancel this swap. Say delete. Select the swap command. Select the second type, 2 guides and radius. So the 2 guides we are going to take, the first one, this one, and this second one. So here the distance was 60 at one side and 60 on the other side. Means the total apart distance between these 2 guide curves or lines we can say is 120 mm. So I'm going to cancel it and we are going to take this radius little bit more value. I'm going to say this value as 90 mm. Say preview. So here we can see here the surface has been added according to the radius 90. If I say OK, we can see this surface is coming. Now while adding this surface, there are going to be multiple solutions. We can say there are going to be 6 solutions here, in which first one we have seen. If I say next and say preview and say OK, so this will be the surface which is going to be appear here. Again we'll change the next solution. Double click on the swap command, say next, and now we can see in this orange color, this surface is showing from the bottom side. So this surface will appear here if I say OK. So this is solution number 3. Again double click for the editing. Now for solution 4, I'm going to click on next. Now this orange portion which is remaining will be shown here as the number 4 solution. Say OK. And we can see this surface has been shown here. Double click and go for the next solution, number 5. Say OK. This complete circular surface has been shown in between these 2 guide curves. Say close. For editing and going for the last type in this swap, double click on this feature and this 6 number solution, the upper circular surface. Say preview, say OK. And we can see here, now the circular surface which was coming at downside is now coming at upper side. So these are the 6 solutions which can be added between these 2 guide curve using this type of feature in swap. That was between 2 guides and radius. Radius was we have taken 90 mm. Just we need to make sure the radius that is going to be taken should be more than the half distance of these 2 lines. Means the distance between these 2 lines, suppose it is 120, so radius should be minimum 60 or more than that. Means half of the distance between these 2 lines should be half or more than the half. We'll cancel this swap now and go for the other type. So the next type in swept command we are going to see center and two angles. Before that, first we are going to hide the planes here. And then we are going to go for the command swept. Here the center curve we are going to select this one, this line. And the reference curve, which will be the starting curve for the reference surface, will be this line. We'll take this angle as 180 degrees. Say preview. Say close. And here we have this surface starting from this reference and ending at the angle 180 degrees. But if I try to put the angle 1 as 30 degrees, so this angle will be minus or deducted from this 180 degrees, and this angle effect will be shown on the surface also. Say preview, and we can see this surface is coming in minus direction with 30 degrees angle as we have added this angle. If I take this angle as 360 degrees, say preview, so here the angle 1 is been deducted from total 360 degrees. If I want the surface to be taken as complete 360 degrees, then we must not add this angle 1. We must keep this angle 1 as 0 only. Then this complete surface will come as 360 degrees. We can see here, if I say 180 degrees to angle 1, preview, only half side will be shown here. Half angle will be shown. So in this way, we can use the center and two angles as a type for the swept command. Say OK and finish. We have seen the three types till now. We are continuing with the other type. After center and two angles, we have center and radius. So for center and radius, it is similar here. I delete this swept first and we'll hide one of the guide curve. We only required one guide curve now. Select the swept command, go for the next type, center and radius. For the center curve, we are going to select this line, and for the radius, we need to adjust the radius value. So I'm going to take this radius value as 120. Say preview. So here one surface having radius value of 120 is appearing. Say OK and finish. If I want to change the value, again double click on this swept to edit the feature and go for the value as 90. I will say 60 only this time. So here one surface has been added around this line or guide curve, we can say, with the radius of 60. So this was one of the swept type. We will move to the next type now. Select the swept command again. Now we have two guides and tangency surface. So for two guides and tangency surface, we are going to make one sketch first. So let's select one plane here. Say sketch. And here we are going to make one center point arc. Starting with this center, start point and end point. Next we are going to make it extrude. So we'll make it extrude command here. Reverse, and we are going to apply one distance. So I'm going to take this distance as 100 mm. We'll update this value and change it to 200 mm. After making one extrude, we are going to select the top plane and say sketch again to make the guide curve. So for guide curve, I'm going to add one line. The length I'm going to take the same, that was 200 mm. Next, say exit sketch. If I want to define the position of the line, we can give this value also here. So I'm going to take this value from origin as 100 mm. Then after that, say exit workbench, and we are going to go for the swept type. Select the swept, and here is the type, two guides and tangency surface. So I'm going to select this option here. First it will ask limit curve with tangency. For that I'm going to select this edge. Next, tangency surface. So I'm going to select this surface here. And lastly we are going to select limit curve. For that we are going to select this guideline. Say preview. Now you will get two tangency surface. And now we can see here we are having one surface with two solutions. This is the first one, and if I say next, this will be the second one. That is from the bottom side. In previous one, the surface is coming from the upper side, and in the second solution, the surface is coming from the lower side. So whatever position we want, we can take it here. Both the surface will come tangent to each other. Say preview. Say OK. So we can see it is coming at the lower side now. If I want to change the side, double click the feature. Say previous solution and say preview. In both the cases, both the surface will be tangent to each other. So this was the type two guides and tangency surface. Next type we are going to discuss here is one guide and tangency surface. So first we'll cancel this one and we'll see one guide and tangency surface. Say OK and finish. And we are going to cancel this swap first. We are going to say delete here. Say OK. Now for this type, we are going to use the same entities which were taken earlier. Select the swap command. Go for the next type, one guide and tangency surface. Now the guide curve one we are going to select this one, and tangency surface we are going to select this one. Say preview. It is showing error here. It is because we have not put the radius value. So we have to keep in mind the radius value. This distance was around 100 mm. We need to take at least minimum 50 mm radius value here. The value should be proportionate to the distance between the tangency surface and guide curve. That's why we need to increase this value here. I'm going to take is 50 or 55 something. I'd say 55 here. Then say preview. Now we can see one arc surface is coming with radius of 55. There is only one solution that is being shown. We cannot flip these sides in this type, but we can remove this extra surface here. We'll zoom it little bit. This surface can be removed just by clicking on this option, that is trim with tangency surface. Say preview and OK. Now we can see the extra surface which was coming, it has been removed now. Say close and finish. We'll hide this sketch. For this type, we need to keep in mind that the radius value we have taken should be proportional or should be fulfilling the distance between the surface and the guide curve. Then only this swap can be applied and surface will appear here. Or else if the radius value is less, then it may not take the surface. Suppose if I want to change this radius value, I'm going to say 80, say preview. Now we'll get two solutions. First one we are seeing here. Next one will be as previous one. This surface will come. But in both cases, we are going to trim the extra surface. Say preview and OK. Say close for this note. So if I'm going to increase this radius value at higher level, then we can get two solutions. But if this value is less, then we are going to get only one solution here. You can see here, this was one guide and tangency. Next type of swap we are going to see here is, and this will be the last swap of this category, that will be limit curve and tangency surface. So for limit curve and tangency surface, first we are going to delete the swap command, say OK, and now select this command and go for the type, that is the last type, limit curve and tangency surface. So here we are going to take this edge as the limit curve, and for the surface we are going to select the same entity which was extruded, that is the surface extruded. Say preview, and we can see here there are two solutions been found. If I go with the first solution, say OK, this surface with tangency will appear along this limit guide curve at the upper side. If I double click it for editing, and if I go for the second solution, say preview, this surface instead of coming at upper side will come at the lower side, having the limit curve tangent with the previous surface. Say OK. Now with one more example we can see this. So for that I'm going to delete this swap, and we are going to take one plane above parallel to the top plane. So select the plane option from the wireframe toolbar. Reference plane as top plane, and we are going to take one reference plane at above of this surface. Say OK. We are going to make one line on this plane. Say sketch to the plane. Make the part center fit, and I'm going to draw one line here. I'm going to make this line symmetric from the center axis. Say OK. We'll take this length as 100 mm. I'll say 120. Next, say exit workbench. After making this line, we are going to go for the command from the wireframe toolbar, that is projection. So I'm going to select this projection command. Here we need to show the projected. So this line will act as the projected entity, and the support entity we are going to show this surface. Say preview, and we can see this line is being projected on this surface, but it is been projected partially. So we are going to change the projection type. Instead of normal, we are going to take along a direction, and for the direction we are going to take the Z direction. So in direction tabs, here right click and just say Z component. Say preview, and we can see now this line is coming along the direction upon this surface curve. It is in the shape of curve only. Say OK and finish. Again go for the same type in swap command, limit curve and tangency surface. So for limit curve, we are going to select this projected sketch in the form of curve. And for the tangency surface, we are going to take this one. And here we need to put the radius value. So I'm going to take this radius value as 50. Say preview. Now it is not showing any surface because of these angles. So I'm going to take this angle as 0, angle 1. And this angle we are going to take as 45 degrees. So angle 1 I have kept 0 and angle 2 we are going to take 45 degrees. Say preview. Now we can see here there are two solutions. First solution is coming from the inside. So this surface will be tangent from the inner side, having this angle as 45 degrees. If I increase this angle, say preview, we can see here this surface length is also been increased from the inner side. But if I go for the solution 2, it will be shown from the outer side. So the outer side surface will be shown and the inner side surface will be trimmed automatically. And if I increase the angle 1 value also here, say preview, so the second side which is not going to be shown will be decreased in size. As well as the tangency which has been connected to this surface will also be decreased here. That's why angle 1 was not taken earlier. It was taken as 0 only. Suppose if I take this value as 15 degrees, say preview, it is shortened in both the conditions or solutions. That's why the surface is not being connected to the curve. So I'll keep this angle value as low as possible. If I go for 0 value only, then only it will be connected properly. Say preview. Now this surface is be connected. So this is the solution 2, and if I go for previous, this will be solution 1 coming at the inside of the body. Say OK and finish. Double click for editing. I want this at the outside surface, so I'm going to take the next solution. Say OK and finish. The inner solution will be trimmed automatically. So this was the last type in circle category of the swept command. Now we are going to start with the another category, that will be conic. So for the next category, we are going to change the interface. We are going to take new part. For making this sketch, first I am going to take two planes. One plane at certain distance. Say I'll take this distance as 80 mm. One more plane at the 80 mm distance from the other side. Say reverse side. Say OK and finish. Now the first type in conic category of swept type, we are going to see it. Select the swept command. And here we have the type conic. And in that the first type is two guide curves. So for two guide curves, we have made two planes. For making the first guide curve, select the first plane and say sketch. Make it center fit. And we are going to make one line here. So we are going to start this line from origin. This is the first line. I am going to take it and make the rotation as horizontal. It is little bit tilted, so I am going to take the solution as horizontal properly. We'll put up the length. So the length we are going to take here is 100 mm. Say exit workbench. Same we are going to repeat the thing on second plane also. Say sketch, and we want the same line with the same length. So instead of making any line, we are going to make this project entities. Select the line and say project entities. So we have the another line on second plane. Say exit workbench and go for the type now. In swept command, select the category as conic, and in that the first type is two guide curves. So first it will ask you guide curve 1. I'm going to select this line as a guide curve 1. Then it will ask you the tangency support or tangency surface. So I'm going to select this plane only. Next, the last guide curve, we are going to select this line, and the tangency or support surface, for that we are going to select this plane only on which we have made these lines. Say preview. Now it is not showing any curve, it is showing an error here if I say preview. It is because we have not put any angle value. So I'm going to take one angle value as 15 degrees here, and then we are going to say preview. Without angle, if I say preview, it will show error. Say preview, and we can see at 15 degrees it is coming at the bottom side. If I go for this angle, I'll say 15 degrees on this side also. It will show a null effect. That's why it is not suggested to keep this angle similar. So suppose if I'm going to take this angle as 24 degrees, we are going to take this angle in minus side. I'll say 24 degrees. So we can see here one balanced conic curve has been made. One angle is at the positive side with the same value, having the angle at negative side, 24 degrees and minus 24 degrees. And if I suppose change this angle, if I change this angle say 30 degrees or 35 degrees, the depth will be decreased here. And suppose if I increase the angle 1, say 35, this depth will be decreased here. Say preview, and we can see the depth has been decreased here. Again, if I say this angle as minus 35, say preview, this curve will come at the center from both the lines or guide curves. If I change this angle and say minus 10 degrees, it is coming at one side been tilted more. If I double click on the curve, and for balancing, if I increase this angle, say 65, say preview, this will come in this way. If I want to change this angle, I can change it from here also. So instead of minus 10, I am going to say 20 degrees, or else I am going to say minus 40. Say OK and preview. So in this way, by these two angles, we can change the shape of this conic using two guide curves. I'll say 30 only. Say OK and preview. It is coming bended at the right side now. So these are the few variations we can make in the angle, and we can change the conic type or shape. This was conic type with two guide curves. Say OK and finish. Now the next type is with three guide curves. First we will delete the swept command. And now as we have taken plane, we are going to select this plane and add one more guide curve. Make it normal first. Then go for the line command again. Say exit workbench. And we have added the third guide curve also. We are going to go for the next type, that is swept, and select the type here as with three guide curves in conic type. So first guide curve I am going to select this one. Then the second guide curve we are going to select this line, and the third guide curve, that is last guide curve. I am going to select the tangency for the last one also. Only this mid guide curve will not require any tangency surface. Say preview, and here we can see the angles. Here are also angle coming. Angle 1 is 40 degrees, angle 2 is coming 0. We can see here. So it is minus 40 actually. So I'm going to change this value. I'm going to say minus 20. And for balancing it on the other side, I'm going to say plus 20 on the other side. Say OK and say preview. So now it is coming balanced at both the sides. Say close and finish. So this was the option by using three guide curves. First guide curve also requires a surface support. Second will not require any tangency surface. And the third one will be this last guide curve, also require the tangency surface. So here two tangency surfaces are required, but having guide curves as three. We need to balance the angle if you want it symmetric on both the sides. Say OK and finish. We continue with the swept command. Select the command. The next type is four guide curves. So we are going to select this command and we'll see what we need. So here we need guide curve 1, then one tangency surface, then next guide curve 2, 3, and last one, that is fourth number guide curve. Last guide curve. So we'll start making the geometry for this. Say cancel. So we'll start making with tangency surface first. Select the plane and say sketch. And here we need to add one spline. And we'll make it extrude here first. So let's make it extrude. Say exit workbench. Say extrude command. And extrude should be symmetric, so I'm going to say mirror extent. I'm going to put up the value as 60 here. So whatever width of the sweep I want, I can take it in this surface only. Therefore, let's take this width as 100 mm, not 60. Next, we are going to go for the plane command now. So I'm going to add one plane. We'll take this profile a little bit upwards. Say update. Control U is the shortcut key. And then we are going to go for plane, as we said. So select the plane command. Take one reference plane in reverse direction. So in bottom side, below this edge, I want this plane to be coming. So we'll take this distance here as around 60 mm. Make this plane sketch. And we are going to add one line here with the length of 100 mm. Make the endpoints of the line coincide with the edge of the surface. On the other side also, I'll make them coincide. Say OK and finish. Here we need to put some distance, so we'll take this distance from the edge to the sketch. I'll say this distance as 100 mm. If needed, we are going to change the distance later. Say exit workbench. So we want here to show that whenever the surface will be added by the swept command here, it should look tangent to this above surface. So I think we need to take this plane little bit more lower side. So we'll edit the distance here. Instead of 60, we are going to take 100 mm. Say update and this line will get updated by the new position. We can see here the change. The line is coming at downside now. Earlier it was looking very much upside. So the surface might not have looked tangent here. That's why we have taken it at lower side little bit. Next we need to make one more plane now, a little bit upward side. So we'll take the reference of the previous plane only we have taken here. Now let's take this distance as 50 mm. Select the plane. So to understand the order of the plane, first we have taken this plane at the bottom side, lower bottom side with the reference of this top plane, and then with the new previous plane we have taken one more plane, that is this plane. We'll make this plane sketch. Say sketch, and we are going to make one more line here. So start with the line command, make one line, make this line horizontal with the relation, and say this point coincide with this edge. On the other side also we are going to say coincide. Now we have one surface and three guide curves. This surface, this is the surface, this edge is the guide curve 1, this one is guide curve 2, and this one is guide curve 3. Now I think we should move this plane little bit downside. So for moving at downsides, we are going to decrease the distance value here. I'm going to say 40 mm only. Now the other plane we are going to use is this top plane only. Select this plane and say sketch. Make this center fit. We are going to make the other line, the fourth guide curve. Now say point and edge to be coincided together. On the other side also we are going to make it coincide. Say OK and put up the value also here. I'm going to say this value as 120 only. Say exit workbench. So after making the required sketch, we are going to go for sweep command. Select the type 4 guide curves. Now guide curve 1, we are going to select this edge, and the reference surface or tangency surface, for that we are going to select the same surface attached to this edge. Next guide curve 2, we are going to select this one. This will be the guide curve number 3, and this will be the guide curve number 4. We can see it is shown guide curve 1 with the surface, then guide curve 2, then guide curve 3, and guide curve 4. Here it is shown in the preview window. Lastly, we need to provide the angle. So for angle, I am going to put the value here as 25 degrees. Suppose if I keep this angle value 0 degrees only, then also we can see in preview the surface has been added. And if I increase or decrease this angle, we can see the change in the surface here. After saying 22 degrees, it is coming at a little bit lower side. And this surface is looking like the two different surfaces are being intersected together. So if I decrease this value, it will take this surface to the upward side. If I say preview, as it is negative angle, it is not giving any surface here. So I'll take this angle as 0 only for the minimum. And here this surface is added using the 4 guide curves with an angle reference. If I want to increase the angle, if I say 10 degrees, we can see here it has been decreased to 10 degrees. If I want to change the sketch of the previous one, which we have made the surface, we can change that sketch in between also. Say exit workbench and say update by clicking Ctrl U. And if I say 0 degrees, it will look like a tangent surface now. So this was the sweep command using conic type and having 4 guide curves with tangent surface. We'll move to the next type now. So in next type, first we'll see what are the requirements. So the name is 5 guide curves. This will be the last type of the sweep command. Select this type. We only require 5 guide curves. G1, G2, 3, 4 and 5. So in this way we need to provide the guide curves only. So let's make this one now. Say cancel. Go for new part. Say part. Say OK. And now with 5 guide curves. I'll put the title only here. With 5 guide curves. Say OK and finish. We can see as the title with 5 guide curves. If you want to increase or decrease the font size of this model tree, just continuously press the control key and scroll on the mouse. This text will be increased. Now we can see it clearly. So we'll start with this sketch now. Select the front plane, say sketch. We'll add one line. We'll take this length here as 120 mm. So we have added this on the top plane. Now in this time we are going to take two reference plane more here. So exit workbench, select the command as reference plane to add one more plane. Select the reference plane here and put up the value. So I'm going to take this value as 25 mm. We'll take one more plane here with the same reference distance as 25 at the above side. Now we have three planes here and we have made one guide curve already here. So now we are going to make four more guide curves. Select this plane, say sketch. So this is the mid plane of the planes we have taken new one. Select the sketch, make one line here. I'll keep the same length of this line, that is 120 mm. We'll make this line coincide with the horizontal axis. The end point of this line will be coincided with the horizontal axis. Put up the distance. So I'm going to take this distance here. We'll take this distance as 80 mm. Next, say exit workbench. And on the same plane, in the same way, we are going to add one more sketch. Select the line. One more sketch coincided with the horizontal axis and with the length of 120 mm only, having distance from the center as 80 mm. I'll take this 120 and this distance from the center line axis we are going to take it as 80 mm only, same as we have taken from the left side. Next, the last plane, the uppermost plane now. Select this plane and say sketch. Say center fit to the sketch and add one more line here. We'll take this line, coincide with the horizontal as we have done earlier also. Take this length same as 120 mm. It is not necessary to put this value as 120. If the length has been taken more also, it will continue adding the surface of 120 mm only, as measure of the lines having the distance as 120. But still we are going to put this value as 120 and then this horizontal distance. So we are going to take this distance as 80 mm. Say exit workbench. And then the last one, say sketch. And the last line now. Say 120 mm. Put this value also here. 80 mm. Now say exit workbench and then we are going to go for the command now. We'll hide these planes so as to understand the sketch. We'll hide the in between taken plane also. We can see now there are total 5 guide curves been added. Let's go for the command now. Swap with 5 guide curves. So guide curve 1 we are going to take this one. Now in order only we are going to select these guide curves. So first one was this, second will be this one, third guide curve will be this one, and this will be the fourth one, and this will be the fifth one. Say preview. We can see here it is showing error. Sometimes it may show error, but if I change the distances little bit or the plane distances, it will automatically create the swept surface here. So let's change some values here. Say cancel. And now the center to center distance we have taken 80, will increase this distance little bit. So instead of 80 we are going to take 120 only here. I think we have not changed the distance for this one. So select this guide curve and we can see here the distance reference has not been updated properly. So I'm going to delete it and add it one more time. We'll take this distance as 120 only. Say exit workbench. Now let's try it one more time. Go for swap. Select the guide curves. Say preview. Still it is showing error. So let's change the plane distance now. So here the plane 1 was taken at 25. I'm going to take it 15 mm only. And the plane 2 also we are going to update it. I'll take it 15 only. Now say Control U for update. Again try the swap command. First, second guide curve, then the third one, then the fourth one, and then the last one. Say preview. Okay, still it is showing some issue. Again we'll update the plane values. I'll say it 12 mm. Now after updating the plane 1 value for the distance as 12, let's try it one more time. Select the swap. Say 5 guide curves. First one, this will be the second, this will be the third guide curve, this will be the fourth, and this will be the last one. Say preview, and we can see now this surface has been added with the help of 3 guide curves. So yeah, in this type of conic shape, angle is not required. That's why we have not given any angle here in 5 guide curves. Other than this, all the above one will require angle, but only the last one will not require any angle. Say OK and finish. So these were the swap types. We have seen total number, as we can see in first category, there were 3 types. In second category, first, second, third, fourth, fifth, sixth and 7. So there were 7 types in the second category. So this total will be 10 types. And now in third category, we have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. So 7 types in third category also, means 17 total. And in the last type we have 4. So there are total 21 types of swap in swap command for the surfaces. We have seen all of them one by one. Now we'll conclude this lecture, and for more lectures for the CATIA series, now we are going to start with the drafting for the next lecture. So stay tuned and continue watching the lectures to learn CATIA software from basic to the end. Our institute name is 4 Dimensions Infotech, and we also provide placements here in CATIA as well as BIW fixture design. So if anybody is interested to join the courses for automation, manufacturing placements, for placement in SPM design, BIW design, fixture design, or any mechanical design, you can contact us directly. The number will be given in the link below. Till then, thank you.